So today I'm afraid Sam is off doing some filming or some editing or generally just being somewhere else and avoiding me. So you've got a self-shot Evo diary to contend with. This is the Elise S Cup and I thought it was worth doing a short video on it. It's basically the Elise S Cup R Racer but in road going trim. So you've got supercharged engine and you've got all the aero from the Cup R, but in a package that you can drive on the road and obviously take to track days. So yeah, let's go and have a closer look at it. So the main thing about this is obviously the aero. Generally all the bits in black on the car are the extras. So you've got the front splitter, you've got side skirts, you've got the rear wing, and then round the back you've also got this massive great diffuser with the single exhaust pipe. Makes it obvious that it's the S Cup. 16-inch wheels at the front, 17-inch wheels at the back. You also get those matte wing mirrors denoting that it's the S Cup. Then on top here you've got a fixed hardtop. I always thought that a fixed hardtop meant that an Elise became an Exige, but obviously we've now got the V6 Exige S, so this is just an Elise with a hardtop. Keeping up? Excellent. And yeah, you've got the green paint, which isn't one of the standard colours in fact, but it's taken sort of Kermit the Frog inspiration. Right, well, as we're at Bedford, we'll go for a drive in it, I think. We'll let the car cool down a bit. I'll take you through some of the things because I'm not sure how much you can hear, to be honest. It's fairly noisy in here. It's very small. You forget how small these are, but they really are. They haven't changed in size in the last. It's getting on for 2 decades since the Elise was originally launched, which is either testament to its original rightness or testament to the fact that Lotus have run out of ideas since. Take your pick. Anyway, what I was saying is the downforce in this is obviously you've got a fairly major rear diffuser. Whatever you think of rear wings, and particularly when they're adorned with union jacks like that, the rear diffuser is undoubtedly huge. And this car will produce 66 kilos of downforce at 100 miles an hour as opposed to just 5 kilos in the standard car. Likewise, at its top speed, which is around 140 miles an hour, this will produce 125 kilos of downforce as opposed to the standard car's 8 kilos. So you can see through the high speed stuff, that's really where this car is going to have a lot more traction, and you can feel through the fast stuff, it is beautifully stable. You can carry a huge amount of speed. The advent and the over tyres, which I like the Yokohamas, they were really good on the tyre test that we did last year. Elises have always had wonderful steering, and just you pour it into the corner, you can feel the front load, you feel a bit of push back out of it, and Elises have always kind of been very much willing to then oversteer, but it's not the snappiness that you used to experience in sort of an S1 Elise. You downlift off in an S1 Elise really, but this is much more predictable. So yeah, it's good fun around the track, which is obviously what you would hope, and it is blindingly quick. Do not let the 217 brake horsepower figure put you off. This is a serious bit of kit around the track. Second yesterday, I took the Elise home and had a bit of a drive on the road, and I woke up this morning. It's extremely frosty and cold this morning, and one of the worst things about an Elise in terms of practical things, because I think you can live with an Elise. It might not be the most practical car, but there's a bit of boot space, which if you pack carefully and thoughtfully and economically, then you can fit enough for a weekend away in it. And if you're travelling solo, then of course you've got entirety of footwell to put stuff in as well. Getting in and out is of course a bit of an annoyance, but really the most uncomfortable thing is on a cold morning
being on is unbelievably cold for the first few miles. That aside, I think living with an Elise every day really would be rather a wonderful experience. So this car's got the suspension from the Cup racer, the sports suspension, and it's still perfectly livable with down a B road. It flows really nicely. You've got all those wonderful Elise messages coming back to you through the bonded aluminium chassis, and it's just a lovely experience. You can feel everything you want through the steering in terms of how it wakes up or lightens just as the front starts to push into understeer. The gearbox, which can be a little bit sort of stringy when you're trying to rush it on a track, is actually fine on the road. And possibly best thing of all, the pedals just feel so right from the moment you get into the car. The supercharged engine, well, it's not the most characterful, but on the road it's nice having that extra bit of power just to make everything sing a little more. It really is so lovely to be back in an Elise again, particularly in the supercharged version where you really have got enough torque to get the rear end just moving a bit, and it's such an involving experience. So what should we conclude about the S Cup? Well, I suppose you could say that the standard bum basic Elise will give you 90% of what this gives you, but if you do track days, then obviously this adds an extra element with all the aero, which really does, it's a nice thing to have, and you really do feel the stability through the high-speed corners. And yet, it's still a wonderful road car. It's an Elise. I love it. Leave your thoughts on it in the comments box below.